Welcome back, Ready Players. In this video, I'm going to be naming a dozen or so flat games I think would make for incredible VR games, and ones that I would love to see come to the PlayStation VR 2 and other headsets with official VR ports rather than just mods. Before we get into it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. It would really mean a lot to show support and help my small channel grow. I'll be covering all the new big PSVR 2 game announcements in the near future and keep you updated on what to be excited for. I'll also be doing full playthroughs of the best games on the channel. With that being said, let's jump into it.
You came to clean up this city, didn't you? It'd be easier to burn it all to the ground.
First game I have on my list is Robocop Rogue City. This game came out of nowhere and shocked many Robocop fans like myself with how awesome it was. Stepping into the role of Alex Murphy in this gory sci-fi shooter had fans lose their minds with how accurately they made the game represent the films. You really felt the sense that you were in the movies. Slow walking and smart targeting enemies as Robocop arguably couldn't have been done better. And the gameplay, in my opinion, feels like a perfect fit to get the VR treatment. Using eye tracking on the PSVR 2 to target enemies, feeling the haptics in the headset when getting shot, would take this game to the next level, and one I would love to experience in a full dedicated VR mode.
Surrender your weapons.
Finally!
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Stop moving.
Officer, you need help?
Stay back, sir. I got this.
Next game or games I have on my list is Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Village, and now Resident Evil 4 Remake being some of the best VR games out there, these feel like no-brainers. Whether Capcom has these planned to get VR modes in the future is still a mystery, but something I feel like is very likely to happen at some point. These games have been modded into VR along with many games on my list, but seeing them get a native VR treatment would be very nice. And I know I'm not alone when I say I'm still waiting for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard to get ported over to the PlayStation VR 2.
No way. This can't be.
Well, we're waiting.
They told me, son, you're special. You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
Next game or games I have on my list is Bioshock. I got a lot of comments saying you guys would love Bioshock to get the VR treatment, and I couldn't agree more. The first game was such a memorable and unique gaming experience that I would die to play over again in VR. The underwater city of Rapture alone would be out of this world to get immersed in again on a VR headset. Maybe getting Bioshock 2 afterwards and then Infinite would be a dream come true. Infinite was also one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time, and another unique setting and story that would be breathtaking to play over again in VR. Here's to hoping.
The details elude me now. But the details wouldn't change a goddamn thing.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Next game I have on my list is Dead Space. Being a die-hard Dead Space fan who beat the original over a dozen times on the hardest difficulty, getting the platinum, absolutely loving Dead Space 2, and even loving the story and co-op gameplay of Dead Space 3, playing with my buddy, this one would be a dream come true for me to get the VR treatment. I think the gameplay is an absolute perfect fit for VR. Dismembering necromorphs with the plasma cutter, aiming the blue lasers at their limbs in VR would be so cool. Exploring the derelict ship of the Ishimura and immersing myself that much more in Dead Space would be the coolest thing ever. I almost rather the original get the VR treatment first, because I prefer the voice actors and a lot of things more than the remake, but the remake's graphics and gameplay make it the more ideal choice. Let me know in the comments which you would rather.
What'd I tell you? There's that truck sticking out of the school right there. Come on.
Next game I have on my list is The Last of Us Part 1. With The Last of Us having such a huge fan base and being so popular right now with the TV show, I think this would be a huge headset seller if Sony were to give this a dedicated VR mode. Sneaking around, throwing bottles to lure enemies away, doing stealth takedowns, experiencing the incredible AI of the NPCs flanking you, desperately fistfighting and shooting with little to no ammo you scavenge for in VR would be insane. I can only imagine the sounds of the infected rushing you with the incredible graphics and gameplay. Seeing Ellie as an AI companion around you and experiencing this legendary story would be a dream come true in VR.
I ain't telling you shit.
That's all right. I believe him.
No, wait!
Next game I have on my list is Dead Island. Dead Island was and still is one of my favorite co-op experiences of all time. Getting to jump into this zombie-infested tropical island with a buddy, exploring, scavenging for weapons, bashing and dismembering the undead was out of this world for its time. I think Dead Island would make for an incredible VR experience if they can nail the combat, being able to swing your weapons in VR, and playing the entire game co-op with friends. I personally think this could rival things like The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, and Arizona Sunshine 2 as zombie VR experiences. They could also do the second game with better graphics, but I'd personally rather the first game. Let me know in the comments which you would rather.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Next game or games I have on my list is Far Cry, or the Far Cry series in general. In my opinion, if they can nail the gun combat with manual reloading, being able to explore any one of the Far Cry worlds would make for an awesome VR experience. They could start with the original and slowly work their way through the series, and I'd be excited to replay every single one of them. I think even the new Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, although not set in the Far Cry series, would be out of this world. No pun intended. If they can nail the gameplay, exploring the gorgeous visuals of Pandora in VR alone would be an amazing spectacle to behold. They would have to really figure out how to make riding the Ikron work good in VR, but beyond that, I think using the bow and arrows, guns, jumping around as a Na'vi in VR would be a really special experience. That is if they can work out the many bugs the game had at launch. Which Far Cry would you like to see get a VR mode?
Listen to me, you're not used to your avatar body. This is dangerous.
This is great.
Next game I have on my list is Outlast. Outlast was and still is one of my favorite survival horror experiences of all time, and I think almost would serve better in VR, and very similar to what we might be getting with Madison. Having the camcorder, reloading the batteries, and sneaking around that hell would be just that much more terrifying in VR. Being fully immersed in that nightmare would be one of the scariest VR experiences ever made, in my opinion. Being that I personally already think that the original Outlast is up there for one of the scariest games ever made. I can already imagine how much scarier it would be in VR. Again, here's to hoping that it gets the VR treatment in the near future.
Added report. Personal message.
Next game I have on my list is Alien Isolation. Another one of my favorite survival horror games ever made. Being a massive Alien fan, this would be a dream come true. And I'm shocked it hasn't been announced yet. I know it's been modded, which I'd love to experience, but I'd rather wait for it to get full native VR treatment to experience it all over again in all its VR glory. This gorgeous game would hands down make for one of the most beautiful and scariest VR experiences out there. And one I'm praying that gets announced sometime, hopefully sooner rather than later. Survios is making an upcoming Aliens VR game that we really know nothing about yet, but I would personally rather Isolation get a legit VR mode, being we don't know what to expect with that game, and we know Isolation is a phenomenal game that would work perfectly in VR.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Next game I have on my list is Cyberpunk 2077. Another one that you can check out modded in VR. I think this would be another massive headset seller, and one I would dump hundreds of hours into in VR. I can only imagine exploring this incredible sci-fi world in virtual reality. This game would be life, and one I'm praying gets a VR mode in the near future. Next game I have on my list is Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is arguably my favorite game ever made. One that I think is still unmatched on a technical level. The details in this game are out of this world. The story, the voice acting, the physics, and open world are top tier. And I can't even begin to imagine jumping into this in virtual reality. It's rumored Rockstar wants to make some of their games in VR, and this, along with the original and many of their other games, would be game-changing when it comes to virtual reality. Please God, Rockstar, do this.
Let's go!
For the love of God!
Alright guys, those are a dozen or more flat games I would personally love to get dedicated VR modes. If there's any games you would love to get in VR, let me know in the comments below, because I'll probably be making another list, being there's so many great ones out there that would be insane to experience in VR. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay notified for more of my VR playthroughs, reviews, and news. Any support you show would really mean a lot and help my small channel grow. Also, comment if you'd like to see me play any game in particular. Thanks for hanging out, Ready Players, and I'll catch you in the next one.